I don't think I can eat anything today, so I'll give this back to you, Jinwoo said, taking the small crystal she offered. It was the same one he had given her in the underground temple. Her hands were trembling as she handed him the crystal. Not long ago something happened, and now she saw it again today. Juhee was very scared. Jinwoo understood why she didn't want to go to dinner now. Well, today isn't the only day, you don't have to give this back to me right now. Jinwoo shook her head. I'm going back to my hometown next week. It seemed like she was leaving and quitting her job as a hunter too. Jinwoo would miss her. Is it because of what happened? That's not the only reason. But Jinwoo's face turned serious when she thought about that day. Jinwoo quickly changed the subject. Where do you call home? My home is in Busan, Jinwoo replied. Juhee's expression turned serious. Yes, he asked, noticing the change in her mood. He stopped smiling. She looked at him intently. His eyes showed a strong will to survive, unlike others who were trembling with fear and despair in the hidden underground place. His eyes were full of strength. She had seen them up close. His eyes showed he was a fighter. Those eyes full of hope had helped save many people including her. No one else could have done that. Thump thump. Her heart began to race as memories of that day came back. But Juhee didn't regret her choice to stop. This job wasn't right for her. She was sad because she wouldn't get to see Jinwoo as often. Would he think I'm weird if I asked to meet him again? She knew there were things she had to let go of. It would hurt her if she kept thinking about them. Juhee smiled brightly and shook her head. Sure, if you're ever in Busan, give me a call. I'll buy you some delicious sashimi. Okay. Jinwoo smiled at her, and she smiled back. She didn't tell him what she really wanted to say. Instead, she said goodbye and walked away. The walk home felt really long. After saying goodbye to Jinwoo walked back to his apartment. He saw the old apartment building from afar. His place was on the 9th floor. He walked past some cars and was about to go inside when an old man's voice called out to him. Hey young man. Unit 92. It was the security guard. Jinwoo had known him for a long time, so he started talking to him in a friendly way. You're still here. Don't you usually go home by now? I'm working the night shift today. The guard replied. Jinwoo nodded to show he understood. The guard then brought out a package from his office. Your name is on this, kid. Oh, thanks. The letter was from the Hunters Association. Was today the day the phone was supposed to arrive? Jinwoo pulled a shiny new phone out of the box. He remembered seeing on the news that people were getting really interested in hunters and trying to get these special phones. Some people even tried to buy them, but who would sell them illegally? He once heard someone say, it's not that people are poor, there's just a lot of thieves out there. Wherever there were enough people, groups like the Hunters Association or the military might have some dishonesty. If a group was dishonest and money was misused, people in need would get less help. This makes things worse over time. Those needing help the most end up hurt the worst. This made me worry, but it seemed like everything went smoothly. Jinwoo waited for the elevator with nothing else to do, so he checked his phone. He had a lot of notifications. When am I going to have time to check all these? 2 numbers in particular caught his eye. None of them looked familiar to him. One number had called him many times. The other had sent a lot of texts. He did not recognize either number. He wondered why someone would try so hard to contact him. Jinwoo tilted his head and looked at the messages first. One text said hello. I'm the one from the hospital. If you have time this week. Am I bothering you too much? I just wanted to talk. At first he wondered who this person was, but then realized it must be the young nurse he had given his number to. What was her name? Yura Choi. He didn't think she was really bothering him, but he felt like it might get annoying if he texted back. Let's just move on for now. Should he check who had called him so many times? Jinwoo pressed the call button. The latest pop song played loudly from the phone speakers. He had a feeling he knew who it might be. The call connected quickly. Hello. Jinwoo was right. He chuckled a little at how easy this guy was to figure out. It's me. You can call this number from now on. Oh, you finally got your phone, boss. It was Jinhyo. Jinwoo had saved Jinhyo's phone number, but didn't recognize it when his phone rang, because Jinwoo usually made the calls first. Jinhyo sounded excited on the other end. I was just about to call you, boss. I've got everyone from the team ready, so I'll come pick you up tomorrow. Jinwoo could imagine Jinhyo's cheerful smile, just by listening to his voice. He smiled and said, "See you tomorrow." Then he hung up the phone with a beep. The elevator doors opened on the first floor just as he ended his call. The elevator dinged. Finally, there was going to be a raid tomorrow. Jinwoo's heart raced with excitement. He needed to level up fast. He wanted to get stronger, improve his skills, and be better than others. Money, honor, and power were his goals. He could have everything if he became a strong hunter. Tomorrow would be his first step toward making that happen. It was late at night on the east coast of the United States. Dongso Hagwang, one of the strongest hunters and leader of the Scavenger Guild, the most powerful group in North America, was about to go to bed when he heard some shocking news. "How did my big brother die?" "Tell me everything slowly." His brother's name was Dongsu Kwang. He had been told that his brother died while fighting monsters from a C-rank 8. Did 8 of his team members die and only 2 survive? And were those 2 who lived ranked D&E? Something felt off. The brother he knew wouldn't put his life on the line for his teammates. Those 2 were just temporary members of the team. It didn't take much to figure out what was going on. Only the lower-ranked D&E hunters had survived. But all the higher-ranked T hunters, including his brother, had been killed. Something wasn't adding up. Dongsu's eyes narrowed sharply. Even though he and his brother had been separated after he joined a famous guild in the US, his brother always looked out for him back in Korea. He wasn't perfect, but he was a loyal brother. "I planned to bring him here once I got settled, but someone killed him." He bitten his lip tightly. "Send me the details about the 2 survivors." The number as he handed the phone to someone else. And immediately called his manager. She answered quickly. "Mr. Wang, it's very late. Is something wrong?" "Laura, what happens if I hurt someone in South Korea?" "Are you serious?" "Yes." There was a brief pause before she spoke again. "There's no extradition treaty between South Korea and the US for hunter-related crimes. Since you are a US citizen, you would be put on trial in this country. We should be able to work with the government to make your punishment less severe." "That's good news. Something important has happened, so I need to go to Korea. Could you please make sure my schedule is free, but if you leave suddenly our group's work might stop completely, Mr. Hong. Can you tell me what is going on? This is private." "Of course, I don't want to cause any trouble for the guild. How long is my schedule booked?" "You're completely booked for the next 2 months." 2 months. That's fine. Please leave my schedule open after that. I'm not asking for much time. Exactly 2 weeks. I'll visit Korea for 2 weeks. Understood. But what should I tell the bosses? Tell them it's for my brother's funeral. Yes sir, I'll do that, Mr. Hong. Let me know if you need. He hung up the phone. He wasn't in the mood for advice or comfort. The facts he had asked for finally arrived. He took the papers from the machine. They had pictures of 2 hunters along with their names and short bios. D-rank hunter Jinyo Yu and E-rank hunter Jinwoo Sung. He looked at the photos, his determination growing stronger. I can probably get some answers from these 2, and if he found anything suspicious, they'll regret coming out of that dungeon alive. Dongsu's anger flared up. The next morning, Jinyo called Jinwoo and told him to come down. When Jinwoo got outside, there was a big van waiting by his apartment building. He was about to ask the driver to move when the window rolled down. To his surprise, it was Jinyo Yu smiling at him. Hey boss, hop in. Jinyo waved for him to get in. The night before, Jinwoo had thought Jinyo would show up in a fancy sports car or something. But instead it was just an ordinary van, though it looked a bit bigger than usual. Jinwoo wondered. I thought your family was really rich. Jinyo replied. If I used my own car, people might notice. I bought this for our missions, Jinyo said, as they got into his brand new van. The outside looked really shiny and clean. It wasn't a fancy car, but it was perfect for what they needed. Jinwoo noticed that Jinyo had arrived on time to pick him up early in the morning. He was clearly ready for whatever lay ahead. Jinwoo had high hopes as he checked out the new van. Jinyo thought Jinwoo didn't like the car and asked, Is something wrong with this kind of car? No, it's great, Jinwoo said and hopped in the front seat. Let's go, Jinyo called out excitedly as they started their first day together. He was humming as he held the steering wheel tightly. They drove for a bit before eventually pulling into an empty parking lot. Skreek. Here we are, one of them said. 8 other hunters were waiting there. The gate behind them seemed too small for what they expected. Tack, as Jinwoo and Jinhyu stepped out and shut the van doors, the others crowded around them. It was clear that none of them were ordinary people. Some looked very tired as if they were not feeling well. One person seemed like a sick person from a hospital. Another appeared like someone who might have been drinking too much. There was also a teenage girl which was not allowed according to their group's rules. She looked like she should be in high school. Is it okay to work with someone so young? Jinwoo asked. I talked to someone who gives advice and they said there shouldn't be a problem legally speaking. People don't usually hire young people, because things could go wrong if something happens. Jinwoo nodded. That should be fine then. Only Jinwoo and Jinhoo would be going inside anyway. So nothing bad should happen. These people were only here to meet a requirement. 10 party members were needed to attack a C-rank gate. That's why Jinhoo had recruited 8 hunters. They all knew why they were there. They were licensed hunters who could not find work, and were having a hard time making money. Most of the people applying were in the same situation. Jinhoo stepped up. I'm Jinhoo Yo, the leader of this raid. He said, this is Hunter Jinwoo Sung, who will enter the dungeon with me. All you have to do is wait near the gate. One of the hunters slowly raised his hand. Will we really get 3,000 for doing that? You don't even have to go inside the dungeon or fight anything and they'll still pay us 3,000 each time we do this. It seemed too good to be true just for putting their names on a list saying they were there. The hunters felt uneasy and worried they might get caught up in something shady. It wasn't like Jinhoo was someone who helped people like Robin Hood. The deal hasn't changed. Jinhoo said it with confidence. His eyes were serious. But you can't tell anyone what you see or hear. If you break our privacy rules, you'll have to pay back 10 times what you're paid. The hunters whispered to each other. Why would those two need such strict rules for exploring the dungeon? The others were curious but couldn't ask questions because of the agreement. Jinwoo didn't want anyone to know how strong he was. To help him become a guild leader, Jinwoo made sure everyone in the group kept quiet about what happened in the dungeon. Instead of asking Jinwoo and Jinhoo questions, the hunters talked among themselves. Can those two really clear a C-rank dungeon alone? One asked. They don't look like strong hunters. If they're good enough to handle a C-rank gate by themselves, why wouldn't they join a guild and tackle harder dungeons? Even though they doubted Jinwoo and Jinhoo, no one wanted to leave the team. No way the deal was that good. Jinwoo had once been tempted by 2,000 won too. They were paying an extra 1,000 won because of a confidentiality agreement. Setting this up took a long time. Jinwoo glanced at his watch and then nudged Jinhoo. We should get going. Yes, Jinhoo replied. He clapped a few times to get everyone's attention. Well, that should be enough explanation. I can't make anyone stay. Does anyone want to quit? The room was silent. Finally, it was time to head through the gate. Oh, boss, wait a minute. Someone called out. Jinhoo quickly ran back to the van, as if he had forgotten something. He put on his gear, and then waddled back. What are those? Someone asked. They're full sets of armor made by expert craftsmen in Italy, he explained. If we're heading into those dungeons alone, I had to get ready somehow. Jinwoo rubbed his head. He felt uneasy, seeing all the steel armor covering Jinhoo from head to toe. What's wrong, boss? Jinwoo had had enough. He pulled out the sword at Jinhyo's side, and let it fall to the ground. Huh? Jinhoo tried to pick it up but lost his balance and fell down. Scritch, scritch, Jinwoo tried to calm himself as much as he could. Take that off before I say something. I'll be sorry for. Yes, sir. But when Jinhoo tried to stand up. Hey, boss. What do you need? Could you help me up? Jinwoo sighed as he looked at Jinhoo's outstretched hands. Is this okay, boss? That's fine. After a while they decided Jinhoo could keep the helmet. Jinhoo jumped through the gate with a big smile on his face. Jinwoo walked slowly behind him. Once inside, other hunters gathered near the entrance one by one. One spoke up about their concerns. They didn't seem very strong to me. Another agreed while watching the gate, saying, I know. The first two members of the group started talking openly about what was on their minds. Someone asked, what if those two die suddenly in the dungeon? Others responded with, at least we got paid up front, and that's true. Then someone wondered aloud, wait, what were their names again? A man with a cast on his leg pulled out his phone to search Jinhoo Yu and Jinwoo Sung. Another hunter helped him, maybe because he looked unsteady, or just wanted to see the results. The squad leader is D rank. Everyone was shocked by that. But the next search result was even more surprising. And the other guy is E rank. Isn't a C rank dungeon dangerous for an E rank hunter to enter? a D rank, and an E rank team trying to raid C rank dungeons. Is that even possible? Plus, the squad leader doesn't have any record of previous raids. Are those young people? This was basically a suicide mission. The association had a rule that you needed at least 10 people to face a C rank gate for a good reason. A man with gray hair took out a cigarette. Skunk skunk. The smoke from his cigarette rose into the air. The hunters fell silent. They felt uneasy because it seemed like they had helped someone die. It was upsetting for them to see someone, even a stranger, die right in front of them at the gate. But there was more to what happened than what they could see. They felt bad about losing the chance to make more money. They had already been paid, but they could have earned much more if they had gone on 18 more raids as planned. It was sad, but it seemed very unlikely that those two would return. Shouldn't we report this at least? You're right. And what if some of the blame is on us? Right at that moment, Virvem, Jinwoo and Jinyo came out through the gate. Huff huff. Jinyo was breathing hard. They looked tired and were catching their breath. Oh, they made it out safely at least. That's a relief. The hunters were happy to see Jinwoo and Jinyo return. They thought the two had faced some issues at the entrance and barely escaped since they were gone for such a short time. But they were wrong. The hunters' faces changed when someone shouted, "The gate is closing." Everyone turned around in surprise. Oh my god, look, did they kill the boss? The gate started to disappear as it usually does after the boss is defeated. The 8 hunters looked shocked, but Jinwoo ignored their stares and asked quietly, "Where's the next one?" "It's about an hour from here, boss," came the reply. "Let's go." Jinwoo and Jinhyo began walking toward the van. The other hunters were amazed as they watched Jinhyo and his team walk away. Jinhyo noticed his teammates weren't following and turned around. "Come on, everyone, we need to hurry. We still have 2 more gates to clear." The hunters' mouths dropped in shock. Guy Won-yoon, the man with gray hair, was so surprised that he didn't even notice his cigarette had fallen out of his mouth. How could Jinhyo and his partner take on another challenge, after already clearing a difficult dungeon by themselves? Others felt the same way. The others were all thinking the same thing. Are they even human? Day 1. Growl. A bunch of monsters came after Jinwoo and Jinhyo. "Boss, they're coming." "Got it." Jinwoo moved quickly through the monster crowd. Monsters fell to the ground wherever he went. The number of enemies went down fast, and soon there was only one left. Shump. Ga. The usual sound played when Jinwoo hit the last monster in the chest. Ping. You have leveled up. Jinhyo had stayed back but was now clapping excitedly. "Boss, that was awesome." "Stones." "Oh yes." Jinhyo took out a bag and started picking up all the stones. Suddenly more alarms went off after the level up sound. Ping. You learned skill Advanced Dagger Wielding Love. Ping. You learned skill Fatal Strike Love. Ping. The level of skill dash has increased. Jinwoo's face lit up. I got new skills. It had been a while. Jinwoo happily opened the skill info screen. Skills Passive Skill Unknown Love. Max Willpower LV. 1 Advanced Dagger Wielding Love. Active Skill Dash LV. 2 Murderous Intent LV. 1 Stealth Love. 1 Fatal Strike Love. 1 He used the dash skill often enough that it had upgraded to level 2. There were 2 new skills called Advanced Dagger Wielding and Fatal Strike as new passive and active skills, respectively. Skill Dash LV. 2 Active Skill. 5 mana required. When activated your speed increases by 40%. When your mana is in use it will go down by 1 point every minute. The speed has been improved. It went up from 30% to 40%, and that extra 10% makes a big difference. Because Jinwoo uses this skill a lot. Skill 8 Advanced Dagger Wielding LV. This is a passive skill that doesn't cost any mana. It only works with daggers. Because Jinwoo has used a dagger for so long he's gotten much better with it. When you have a dagger equipped, your damage increases by 33%. Since the dagger has been his main weapon, this skill helps him a lot. Other weapons won't work as well now. This means using a dagger is very effective when attacking. This was a big plus since he wasn't planning on switching weapons anytime soon. He had really started to like his weapon, Kazaka's Venom Fang. He was very used to it now. Finally there was another skill. Jinwoo looked at it with curiosity. Skill Fatal Strike LV. 1 active skill. 70 mana, required. For daggers only. You've learned how to attack more efficiently. You can find an enemy's weaknesses and strike with fatal force. This was a skill that worked only with daggers. It was a way to fight efficiently now that he thought about it. He felt the same excitement now as he had when he defeated Tasik. It was thrilling in a way. He knew right away that the fight was over when he used his dagger. He had struck a vital point without even realizing it. What amazed him was that this success which he had stumbled upon was now a skill he could rely on any time. His heart raced with excitement.